Hi, Odyssey Recapped here. Today, I'm going to explain an action comedy movie named Badass. Frank Vega is a highly honored soldier from the Vietnam War who has faced many challenges in his life. While he was serving his country, his girlfriend got married to someone else and had 2 daughters. He can't find employment anywhere, so he ended up earning a living by selling hot dogs for most of his life. Unfortunately, a hot dog truck came along and took away his customers. As a result, Frank spent a significant portion of his remaining life wandering from place to place without a fixed home. Then, one day, he defends everyone on the bus from 2 skinhead bullies who were mistreating people and even attempting to harm an elderly man. A bystander records the incident and shares it on YouTube. As a result, Frank becomes an internet sensation, gaining fame and earning the nickname Badass. He is celebrated and admired by everyone in his surroundings. People start creating t-shirts and graffiti featuring his face, and the police invite him to join them on ride-alongs. Eventually, he even gets invited to appear on various talk shows to share his story and experiences. After 3 months, Frank receives the sad news that his mother, Juanita, has passed away. As a result, she leaves him her house and her dog. Frank's closest friend and fellow Vietnam veteran, Klondike Washington, decides to move in with Frank and gives him a USB flash drive, which contains important information related to Juanita's safe deposit box. One night, Klondike goes out to buy cigarettes but tragically gets killed by 2 thugs in a dimly lit alley. This devastating event leaves Frank completely heartbroken. However, amidst the sorrow, Frank encounters a young boy named Martin who happens to be his neighbor. Martin lives with his mother, Amber Lamps, and his abusive father, Martin Sr. Officer Malark provides Frank with reassurance that the police department is actively working to apprehend the men responsible for Klondike's murder. However, when Frank watches the news and discovers that the police swiftly solved a different murder case, he becomes aware that they are making little to no progress in Klondike's case. Filled with determination, Frank reaches a decision to take matters into his own hands and begins conducting his own investigation. He starts by examining the alley where Klondike was shot, seeking clues to unravel the mystery. During his investigation, Frank discovers a spent cartridge casing and a pendant containing a woman's picture. Recognizing the significance of these items, Frank decides to visit a pawn shop for more information. The shopkeeper informs him that the pendant belongs to a man named Terrence, whose wife's picture is encased within it. After returning the pendant to Terrence's wife, Frank inquires about Terrence's whereabouts. She reveals that he hasn't been home for a week. According to her friend, Terrence was spotted playing basketball with his friends at Street Park. Following a confrontation with some of Terrence's friends, they provide Frank with a lead that a man named Ronaldo might have information about Terrence's location. Frank heads to Ronaldo's apartment and encounters his roommate, who informs Frank that Ronaldo is currently at a bar located across town. After encountering resistance from the bar patrons who attempt to eject him, Frank manages to locate Ronaldo and coerces him into revealing that Terrence is spending time with his girlfriend. Determined to find Terrence, Frank tracks down the girlfriend, who happens to work at a massage parlor. However, she proves to be uncooperative. Undeterred, Frank decides to tail her after she finishes her shift, hoping to uncover Terrence's whereabouts. After illegally entering her home, he discovers Terrence and inflicts harm on him to extract information about his boss who instructed the killing of Klondike. He does this by forcefully placing Terrence's hand in the kitchen's garbage disposal unit. Terrence discloses that Klondike was murdered by a drug lord named Panther. The reason behind the killing was the flash drive Klondike possessed, which held information about a covert project involving the excavation of oil wells in the local area. The project was being carried out on behalf of Mayor Williams. Prior to facing Panther, Frank rescues Amber and Martin from their abusive spouse and develops a close friendship with them in the neighborhood. Amber kindly invites Frank to her home for a homemade meal, prompting Frank to dress up nicely in preparation for the occasion. During the dinner, Frank requests Amber if he could keep one of her matchbooks as a keepsake, and she agrees to give it to him. Just as they are about to share a kiss, Martin Jr. unexpectedly interrupts them, causing them to refrain from doing so. Frank strongly urges Amber and Martin to stay at his home until he can fix her front door. The following day, Frank hands over the flash drive to Officer Malark and proceeds to locate Panther at his secret location. However, Frank is unexpectedly struck unconscious, captured, and subjected to torture in order to extract information regarding the whereabouts of the flash drive. This torture involves being connected to an electrocution device. Despite enduring multiple electric shocks that evoke memories of his time in Vietnam, Frank remains steadfast in his refusal to surrender the flash drive. Panther seizes Frank's wallet, discovers Frank's address, and becomes convinced that Frank is concealing not only the flash drive but also a loved one at that location. Based on Frank's persistent denial of anything valuable being present, Panther orders his men to continue torturing Frank, but Frank manages to break free from his restraints. He improvises a plan by igniting the matchbook given to him by Amber and throwing it at the oil drums stored in the room, resulting in a fire and subsequent explosions that engulf the building. Panther manages to flee, but Frank relentlessly pursues him. They both commandeer buses and engage in a high-speed chase, causing extensive damage to numerous vehicles along the way. Their pursuit intensifies until both buses are completely wrecked. While continuing his pursuit of Panther on foot, Frank encounters the two skinhead thugs he had previously defeated on the bus. The thugs attempt to redeem themselves from their prior humiliation by recording a video of themselves beating up Frank using their cell phone. However, Frank once again overpowers them, triumphing in the encounter, and resumes his chase after Panther. Panther reaches Frank's house and discovers Amber there. He menaces her, intending to harm her in order to obtain the flash drive. Fortunately, Frank arrives just in time to intervene. A fierce confrontation erupts, extending from the house into the front yard just as Panther is poised to attack Frank once more. Amber bravely leaps onto Panther's back, impeding his movements and buying Frank enough time to recover and brutally overpower Panther, rendering him defenseless. Panther is apprehended and taken into custody, while the news exposes Mayor Williams' involvement in the scandal linked to Panther. Subsequently, Frank Vega receives recognition for his courageous actions and is awarded for his bravery by the police. Frank, Amber, and Martin find contentment in their lives and enjoy a happily ever after together. Make sure you subscribe and turn on the notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.